goes that he'll be normal during the day, but at night, in the presence of evil, the rider takes over. You deserve a second chance.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to a classic Marvel film review. Today I'm taking a look at the 2007 film Ghost Rider. The film is written and directed by Mark Steven Johnson and stars Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze. We have Eva Mendes, Sam Elliott, Matt Long, Brett Cullen, Peter Fonda and Wes Bentley. Right, okay, Nicolas Cage plays Johnny Blaze. We meet him as a young man. He is travelling around with the carnivals doing stunts with his father on motorcycles. His father's very, very ill. He's got cancer. And Johnny Blaze makes a deal, essentially, with the devil. Oh, he's not called the devil. Peter Fonda's character. To essentially cure his dad, and then he will have his soul. He cures his dad from cancer, but the very next night, he causes his dad to die in a crash. And Johnny Blaze then essentially does one. It jumps a few years later. He is now the world's most famous stunt rider. But Blackheart has come up from hell in order to claim the earth for his own. And it's up to Johnny Blaze to become his own destiny and become Ghost Rider in order to stop him. Right, what are my thoughts on Ghost Rider? Well, I remember going to see this one when it first came out. I've always quite liked Ghost Rider. I've always liked the concept of him. Really quite a cool character, I think, in a lot of ways. And I remember actually quite enjoying this at the cinema when I saw it. But I do remember it also kind of getting a fairly poor critical response, which isn't really unusual for superhero films then or now, really. Now, after rewatching this, and I haven't watched this for a few years, and this review is a result of a poll I put up on the channel, and you guys wanted to see this review. So it's a while since I've seen this one, and after kind of watching it to actually review it and give a critique on the film, you can certainly see some of the film's failings here. It's a very, insular, compact, and very thin plot sort of thing. It kind of just, it feels like not a lot of effort has gone into kind of, giving us a really meaty story here. It's very, very by the numbers stuff here. And okay, I mean, you want to get the character Ghost Rider out there. You want to kind of get the public to kind of see him and stuff like that. But I just think it was a weak introduction to this character in a lot of ways. However, saying that doesn't mean this film isn't certainly entertaining and enjoyable, because I really do think it is. I think the casting of Nicolas Cage here as Johnny Blaze is a good one. Obviously, again, if you know my content, you know I'm a huge fan of Nicolas Cage. I think his range as an actor is just astounding, and he really gets to go for it here in this film. It's one of those films where the shackles are off, and the scenes where he's transforming into the rider is just Nicolas Cage at his manic best, and you've just got to love it, really. Fantastic stuff. And he's a massive fan of Ghost Rider, and he lobbied heavily to get this part, Nicolas Cage. He even has a Ghost Rider tattoo that they had to cover up for him to do this film. And he's a big fan of comic books, as many of you know. He was almost cast as Superman. He's done this, he's voiced things for Spider-Man and all sorts. He's a big comics fan. So this was like a dream project, really, for Nicolas Cage. So when he came on board, the budget kind of ballooned and all that kind of stuff. Now, the film did reasonably well. It made a tidy profit, if not a massive profit. Obviously, it did well enough to warrant a sequel, which we got Spirits of Vengeance, which I don't remember a great deal about it, if I'm being honest. I remember it not being particularly impressed with that one. But I might revisit that one after watching this. But there is definitely some fun moments here, despite the weak story and the weak villain. You know, this whole Blackheart thing, Wes Bentley's character. I was far more into the Peter Fonda character, and I know he's not called the devil in this; he's called Mephistopheles, and I'm sure I've said that wrong. But essentially, he's the devil. He was such a cool character. You know what I mean? He just oozed class, the way he portrayed this role. Very, very good indeed. And I would have liked to have seen more of him in this film. The whole Wes Bentley Blackheart character, he just didn't feel menacing enough to me. And his goonies, his three henchmen, just offered nothing. They were just a distraction, really. They were just fodder for Ghost Rider to kind of take out. The effects, I think, are really good, and I think for the most part stand up, especially obviously the Ghost Rider effects. I think some of the CGI in other instances, I think, is not the best. But I think overall it's steady as a CGI, and I think it's clear that they've put a lot of effort into Ghost Rider to make him look cool, and he does. And then they kind of, I don't know if ruin it's the right word, but that whole sequence where he's being chased by the police all over the place, and and he's diving into the sea and then going up sides of skyscrapers while he's being chased by these police and helicopters. I'm just kind of thinking, this isn't Batman. You know what I mean? It's a much more supernatural and dark character. I wanted to see him kind of go up against, these powerful creatures from the underworld and all this kind of stuff that he's got to send back. I think so. I think they made some poor choices here in the film to kind of show off Ghost Rider. It's almost like they created these scenes to kind of show him off. Some of them. Well, I know they did actually. I know like the helicopter sequence was added in afterwards, sort of thing, to kind of put a bit more action in the film. So it feels patchy at times, this. But when it works, this film, I think it really does work quite well, and there are some effective stuff going on in it. As I said, the Ghost Rider stuff's really good. I think Cage is good. Sam Elliott is awesome, as he always is. The only problem I have with the Sam Elliott as the caretaker is like at the end, when they go riding off together with Sam Elliott as the old Ghost Rider and Nicolas Cage as the new one. You think, oh yeah, they're going to kick ass together, they're going to team up, and then when they get where they're going, Sam Elliott's caretaker character says, "Right, I'm off now. I've no power left now, so I'm going to go." So it was basically just keeping him company on the trip. That didn't make sense, and I always felt when I watched this that Sam Elliott's character is going to come back and kind of save the day almost, or be a distraction, or sacrifice himself, or something. But no, you never really got it. So there are some things here that just don't make a lot of sense. It's odd as well. It feels like Blackheart spends the whole film chasing this, letter that's going to give him this great power. And when he doesn't have this letter, he's seemingly much more powerful than Ghost Rider because he can defeat him. And then when he gets this letter and becomes Legion, he's defeated just like that by Ghost Rider. It's just kind of like, oh, you were probably better sticking as you were, mate. Ghost Rider took you out as soon as you became Legion, and because he's got all these new souls in his head now, so he can do the penitent thing, stare on them and kill them all. So I mean, there's some silly stuff here. There's some cool stuff here. It's a sloppy story, a weak plot, but there's still something really, really cool about seeing Ghost Rider flying down, sort of thing, tearing it up down the streets on his bike and stuff with the flaming skull. It just looks cool. Did they nail it? No, not particularly. But you know, there were some things there that almost really worked here, and I think, you know, a little bit more care, and I think they could have really made something quite special with this one. Don't I'd love to see Ghost Rider return to the MCU. That would be a really, really cool thing to see. I know there was, I think, whether it was they're thinking of doing it for Deadpool and Wolverine, bringing Ghost Rider back for that. Probably. He was considering bringing everybody back for that, wasn't he, Ryan Reynolds? But yeah, as it stands, this is a decent Ghost Rider film, but nothing more than that. Nothing special, nothing memorable, overly so anyway. So thanks for joining me, guys. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to review the sequel, and I will certainly do so, and I will see you very, very soon for plenty more content.